You're born and brought up in pretty much in Andhra and Telangana. You grew up in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
You studied in Vijayawada, but you seem to get the knack of the understanding of Mumbai mafia, not just the mafia, but the locales, the body language, and the look and feel of the typical Mumbaiya. So how did you get that?
That is, I think, strangely, the answer is in your question. It's only because I'm an outsider. I was fascinated when I saw Bombay. If I was born and brought up there, I probably would have taken it for granted because there's a surrounding I grew up in. There wouldn't be anything special. When I went to Bombay for the first time, that was when I was in my video library days, and I used to go there to pick up video cassettes. So I was completely mesmerized with the way the city is, extremely rich people and poor living right next to each other, the skyscrapers and the dirt and the people living on pavements. And yeah, it almost looked as if it's an impossible thing to govern or how it survives, you know. So I think like the Dharavi slum, for example, it just looks seamless and endless. And I was told even the police are scared to go inside because absolutely lawless kind of a place. And I saw young children just crawling right next to a suburb railway trains because there's no one there to look take care of them, you know. So all these images kind of made a very heavy impact on me. Of if I take Bombay as a person, so that person impressed me. I took it as an entity. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
The personality of
Yes, personality of Bombay.
Perfect. So every time Satya is talked about, three things come up. One is Ardha Satya, the other one is Israt Ki Subah Nahi, and Sudhir Mishra's Israt Ki Subah Nahi, and of course Bandit Queen by Shekhar Kapoor. So I want to understand what really influenced from these movies to help you make Satya.
See, definitely Ardha Satya was a very influential film of mine right in the beginning of my career, even before I made Shiva. And Israt Ki Subah Nahi, not so much. Israt Ki Subah Nahi, he actually wanted Saurabh from that film. That's about, except for that, there was no connection for me. Then the third is Bandit Queen. Yes, it was heavily influenced because the first time I saw a film is so much of authenticity in terms of the storytelling, the characters, and the casting and everything, you know. So, but I would like to put Bandit Queen above Ardha Satya because at the time I saw Ardha Satya, maybe I was in my intermediate. Bandit Queen, I was already a director. I probably saw it maybe a year before Rangila or something. That is the timeline, if I remember correctly. So I was much more mature in understanding Bandit Queen. Yeah.
So in one of the interviews, Manoj Bajpayee said you are actually jealous of Shekhar Kapoor for making Bandit Queen, and you wanted to make a better film than that. Was that Satya?
I mean, jealous, I don't know is the right word, but I was very zapped with the film for sure because I thought it was, I mean, it woke me up as a director. If you really are sincere, you can reach this level, is what I thought, you know. And but the difference is, see, Shekhar's film is very authentic in terms of realism, which I don't think is Satya. Satya is typically a mainstream film, which I kind of disguised it to make it look like a realistic film. I do not believe it's really real in the sense, and not as real as Bandit Queen, you know. And yeah.
So you made very diverse set of movies with different genres all the way from Siva till Satya. You touched horror, you touched even a romantic love story like Rangila, musical hit. And how did the one-liner about Satya came up?
See, the one line of Satya actually came because there was someone known to me in who used to live in Oshiwara. Okay, he lives on the 14th floor. So one day he told me that he used to bump into one guy who probably lives around 3 floors above or something. In the lift, they exchange hi, good morning, or happy New Year, things like that. He saw him off and on for 2-3 years. And then one day, suddenly, his wife told him that police arrested him and took him, you know, because he's connected to some underworld gang, you know. So he said that is what Bombay does. You can be right next to each other for years and you have no clue who the other person is. Because that is what the apartment culture is, you know. Unlike a colony where there are a group of houses, they keep bumping into each other and see each other. They're so cut off. So that was for me the one-line story of Satya. Like Urmila is in love with Chakri, but she doesn't know he's a gangster. You know, and okay, whatever happens, if you can call it that. But what Satya for me was not so much about the storyline; it was the characters. See, when I was the first time I remember the thought of Satya as a film came to me when I was in Jammu Sugan's house. At that precisely at that time, Gulshan Kumar was killed. You know, he just heard about the murder and he told me and he said he just called me in the morning 7 o'clock and he went there at 8 o'clock or something. So we have this habit of recounting a person's movements when something tragic happens. So suddenly a funny thought came to me. If he woke up at 7 o'clock, what time did the killer wake up? You know, so he also is a human being. He would also have slept in the night and he must have woken up at some time knowing that he has to go to a certain place to execute this job given by his boss or whoever it is, you know. So then it suddenly struck me, we always know about them either when they kill or when they die. What happens in between? What do they do in between is because in cinema we always tend to cut it to the chase. But in real life, you can't cut to the chase. It's always something happening in between. So I thought, let's make a film about what they do in between. That was, for me, was the first thought of Satya, not necessarily the story.